Okay, guys, so to start off, we know that we need to create our database in a Google Sheet. You can do this in the Microsoft Excel online version, the web version as well. But then I prefer to use Google Sheets because it's easy to update and to see this update flowing in. So we're going to start off by creating a folder for our spreadsheet. And I'm going to put a folder in that dedicated, we're going to put a spreadsheet in that dedicated folder because we do not want to lose other documents related to our mobile application. So I'm going to stand here and I'm going to click on new and I'm going to click on Google Sheets and it's going to create a Google Sheet for me in that folder. The first thing you need to do is to give it a name that will be easy to identify. So I'm going to stand over here. I'm going to call this accounting software database. Right. So this is the accounting software database. I'm going to move this image here this time around. Okay. And then the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create our chart of accounts. Now, our chart of accounts is going to be in three main tables. Okay. So we're going to have the standard classes, that's revenue, other income, expenses, those ones, those are standard, they don't change. We're going to have the main lines. Okay. And that's business specific. And then we're going to have details. So for, let's say, a particular business, let's say in this case, we're using a hospital, right? If you take the chart of accounts of that hospital, maybe revenue are inpatient services, that's the main, and then details might be maybe sale of this or sale of that, or particular detail for that particular inpatient service account. All right, so I'm going to say COA class. That's the first one. And to make this easy, I already have the chart of accounts provided in the description below. So when you go there, you see a link that has all the information that you need in relation to this course. So you can just go in there and you see the chart of accounts over there. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste this over here for chart of accounts class. So Control Shift V over here, and we have these. So we have the account code class over here. We have the name of the account. We have the type. Okay, type being whether it's a debit or a credit type. Then we have the various statements. And we have this, which is labels. The reason why we have numbers in front of these labels is because it makes it easy for us to sort in this order, right? AppSheet can only sort alphabetically, right? But then with the numbers in front, we can sort them in a chronological order. So we want revenue first, other income, cost of sales, and so on and so forth. And you notice in front of revenue, there's a space, right? The space over here is to allow R to come before O because alphabetically O comes before R. And because they are the same number, 1 and 1, if without the space, it will sort O before R. Good. So that's the first one. The second one, I'm going to put over here COA main. Okay, and the third one is going to be COA details. Okay, so COA class, COA main, COA details. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy all this information, paste them here quickly. So that's for main. And for details, okay, and this is for details. So as you can see over here, we have the class of accounts. We have the main accounts over here. So these are their account codes. This is how they relate to the classes. This is their type. And then the details over here as well. This is their accounts details. So they also relate to this through the main. And then we have the name and then we have the type. So with this, we can go ahead and then bring this into our app. And then we can create our chart of accounts. So I'm going to come to extensions and click AppSheet, create an app. Okay, so we have this ready. So I'm going to close this. The first thing you need to do is to always bring in your tables. Okay, so we have these tables over here. Now let me just teach you one trick with AppSheet. Okay, in order to always be able to pull in your tables whenever you need to, okay, quickly, you can always create an empty sheet. So just create a sheet called empty. And within the course, you appreciate why the sheets is going to be helpful. It's a quick way to help you pull in all your sheets. So I'm going to do this. So when I come here and I click here, I have these two over here. But eventually, as I work, the empty sheet is also going to pop up. And whenever I need to pull a new sheet, I can use that channel to pull in the sheet. So I'm going to bring this in. I'm going to click add. Click here, click add. Okay, let's see if the empty is here. It's still not here, that's fine. Okay, so let's go ahead. So let's work on the various classes of our chart of accounts. So this is a row number, this is the key, good. We're going to make all account codes text. Okay, let's make it uniform. So the label is that, type is this, statement is that, label is this. Okay, so when I click this, we have account code, name, type, statement, label. Okay, that's fine. We know that we're not going to add any other class of accounts here, so that's no problem. Now let's come to main. I'm going to make this also text as well. Name is this. This should be a ref. Okay, to the main. No, not to main, to class. Done. Okay, so this is an enum, and this is debit and credit. Good. So let's come here, let's see. So when I click this, now I have account code. Now the account code must some way relate with the class of accounts. If I select revenue, the account code should actually tell me that, okay, the last revenue account we have in here is maybe 001 or 002. So this will become 003, something like that, right? So we need to come up with a formula that will work for that. To do this, we first need to know how many revenue accounts there are, right? So we'll come to the class and then we'll come and do a count. So we'll say number of accounts, number of main, let's say main accounts. Okay, so it's just going to be a count of related. Is there no related? Let's see. Discard, delete. Okay, there's no related. Let's save this first. Good. Now there's related CoA means. Okay, so now we're going to come here. I'm going to say number of main accounts. All right, so we're going to come here. We're going to say count related main accounts. And then we can just bring in, let's say, code this. So this is going to give us a count. Let's click done and let's preview this and see. Let me save this. Okay, so let's preview it again once it's saved. Okay, yes, so we have the count of, right? So revenue has 4 accounts. This has 1, this has 4, this has 14, expenses 3, 7, 6, 1. Good. Now that we have the numbers in here, we can now come back here, main, and then we use a formula to pick that number and add 1 to it basically every time we need to create for that specific one. So we'll come here, and then we'll come to initial value. So we're going to say, okay, so over here, we're going to use the ref, which is class of accounts, dot number of main accounts. So here it's 4, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to take our class of accounts that has been selected and add, I'm guessing this is a text, so we're going to say number. So take the number of this and add what we've actually calculated or we've calculated over here. And then you add 1. Something like this. So let's click save. Good. Let's click done. Bring this down a bit. Let's click this. Now what we want to do is we want to move this guy up. So he'll be the first item selected. So the first thing you want to do is you select revenue, then you have 5. If you select other income, you have 2. If you select cost of sales, you have this. You select expenses, you have that. You get it? So it always creates, come up a bit. It always kind of creates the account code for you. You get it? Now, the user doesn't really need to see the account code, so we can hide that. Okay, so the user provides the name, he selects the account, provides the name, which is also very important. So we'll make it required. And then the type is also very important. Required. Save. Good. So now we know that whenever you want to create, not a class, the class they'll hardly ever create that. So let me hide this icon. But for the main, when you click here, you select other income, for instance, you come here, then you select this, then you select this. Good. Then you have this. All right. So we have this in place. Now the next thing we want to look at is we come here, okay? And then we look at details as well. So for details, we've created this should have a text type. Name is name, that's fine. This should be a ref. And it's going to be a ref to the main table. Good. Click done. And type is an enum. Is that okay? Now let's create a view for the details as well, so we can have an understanding of what we are dealing with. So over here, details. Okay, good. So these are the details. Let's make it a table. Okay, so name, this account code, details, this account code main, and this type. Okay, so when I click on the plus, now the account code details must also work in the same way we did for the account code main. So we first have to move this guy up. So let's move him up over here like this. Okay, so when you come here, you click, you select this medical expense, or you select electricity. Okay, then it will automatically compute what the detail should be over here. So we'll come here, come to main, and as we did for the class of account, we're going to do the same thing here, counts. So I'm going to click here. I'm going to say number of details, detail accounts. Okay, so we have this. So we're just going to do the same thing over here. So we're going to say count, okay, related. Okay, so we haven't saved, so our related hasn't been created. Let's do that. Let's delete this, save. Okay, so now we can create our count. So number of detailed accounts. Okay, we're just going to count over here. All right, we're just going to say related account details. Just going to click save, click done, save this, and then we'll have a preview of that as well. Good, so there's a number. All right. Okay, so we'll come here, and in details, we can now use that number in our calculation. So we're going to click this. Okay, we're going to come here to auto compute initial value. Remember, keys. You can't put an auto formula, or you can't put an auto compute formula for a key. It has to be an initial value, right? The user still has to have some sort of control over what the value is. And with auto compute, it's going to always change. It's going to always update as the app refreshes. So keys are not allowed to change, right? Basically, they have to be fixed, and that's why you have to use initial value. All right, so I'm going to come over here and just going to pull that value in, right, like we did for the last time. So we're just going to say account min, which is a ref dot number of details, this account, plus what we've selected, which is the account min itself, plus 1. Now remember, this is a text, so we're just going to change it to number because, like I said, we made all the account codes text. So we're going to change it to number, then we can use it as formula. Click done. Boom. Save this. Okay, so we'll move this guy. Okay, he's already at the top. So medical service like this. So medical services, we have 02005104, right? The last one was 103. So this becomes 104, then we provide a name and blah, 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 like that. So the name is also going to be required. So this is required, click done. And the type also has to be required. So click here, data validity required. And then we just hide this guy. Good. So when I come here, let's say electricity, I provide a name. So let's say a prepaid card, right? When I click electricity is an expense, so just click save, something like that. Do you get it? Good. So I'm going to name this as detail. Now this will turn out to be our main chart of accounts, right? That'll be our main chart of accounts. So details, or COA details. So these three, I'm going to move them to ref for now. Move this to reference, move the guy to reference, move this to reference as well. Good. All right. And then let's use the main as our chart of accounts. Good. So I'm going to call this main or this COA chart of accounts, make this a table where you have debits and credits. What we need is a few things. We need a statement over here. So class, I'll make the labels, okay? So that instead of having just, you see, when I made it name, when it was name was just the flat without the numbers. But when I make it labels, I have the numbers over there. Good. Okay, so when I come here, there are a few things I'm going to put in. One is I'm going to put in the statements. Okay, that's going to be helpful at some point. Change the statement that each account belongs to. So we're going to say class of account dot statement. Click save. Click done. Okay, good. So there's a statement over here. Good. Now let's clean this up a bit. Let's clean this up a bit. So what we want to do is we want to put or group them based on their class of accounts, not their sites. So come here and then group by class of accounts. No, this is sorted by. So come here, class of accounts. Good. So we have revenue, we have fixed assets, we have this. So group by revenue, and that's actually interesting because fixed assets is also number one. But that's fine. You know what? Let's leave it as such. Statements. Can we do it this way? Go to balance sheet lines. These are the balance sheet lines. And these are the income statement lines. Maybe we can do it that way. If you open it in a desktop view, it looks something like this. So empty, I have total. These are the balance sheet lines. These are the income statement lines. And then I have this. I think I'll take it. We'll take off the related accounts. We'll take off the counts. Or we can leave the counts over there. It's fair. We'll take off the related accounts. Okay. So let's come here. COA. I think I'm missing column order. Manual. Okay, good. So we want this class of accounts. We want type. We want this. We want this. Select. One of the accounts should go. Okay. 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 I think that's fair. That looks nice. That works for me. Okay, so guys, that's it. So the first one is already done. We've created a chart of account. The next one we're going to do is we're going to bring in our GL, and then we're going to see how we can enter information into our GL, right, through AppSheet. Okay, so for our GL, what we'll do is we'll click on the plus button over here, and then create GL. Okay, now I'm just going to introduce you to the various headers that we need in our GL, right? We need an ID. Okay, we also need a transaction ID, right? Because what's going to happen is that we're going to pass debits and credits, right? So we want to be able to relate, or we want to know that this debit relates to this credit, okay? So each line will have a unique ID. By transaction ID, will map out a debit and credit together. Okay, so let me show you what it looks like in the raw data, okay, in the already built version. So now come over here, and I come to GL, you see something like this. So you see this line has a different ID from this line, right? But they both have the same transaction ID. If you look over here, you see the same transaction ID, right? Because it helps you know that the corresponding credit of this line is this line. Do you get it? Good. They are related. Then we have the entry date when the transaction was entered, and then we have the transaction date, okay, when the transaction was recorded to have happened. Okay, so entry date, we always capture when the person is entering the transaction, but they have the transaction, the person has the option to select when they entered it. Then we have a description column, we have the accounts. Okay, so these are the accounts over here. You can see the account codes. By an app sheet, you see the account names. Then we have debit and credit side. Okay, now this side basically tells where the account actually belongs. So in this case, the account is actually, even though you're crediting it, it's actually a debit account. Okay, it's very important because we'll use it for these two next columns, which is the net debit and net credit, which allows us to do a computation to know the total for each line, right? Then we have the statement, and then we have a script over here that runs to do certain things for us. So that's what we want to do. So I'm just going to copy this line or this headers, and then bring it over here. Paste it here, Control V, good. So we have ID, transaction ID, entry date, transaction date, description, account, debit, credit. I'm going to change side to type. Okay. They have net debit, net credit, statement, and then a script run column or run script column that helps us know that, okay, this column or this script has been run. Okay, so now we have this. So we're going to bring this table into our app. So come here, and then I'm going to click on this plus. I'll come here. So I'll go to Google Sheets. Name of my app is Accounting Software. Okay, that's it. Good. So I have these two tables. So I can add both of them. I'm not just going to add empty. I'm going to add this guy. Click add. Okay, now we have the GL in here. Okay, so let's create a view for this and let's see how it looks like. There's no data in there, but these are the columns. Okay, that's fine. Let's use a tablet. Now let's come here. Right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add, or we're going to set the data types for each field. So ID is going to be unique ID. That's fine. Transaction ID will also be unique, I believe. It's blank. Let's see. So let's set unique ID. I'm going to save this. Click done. Good. Entry dates, we're going to do a date and time. This transaction date is just going to be date. Description is long text. Accounts is going to be a ref. Now it's going to be a ref of the detail accounts table. Okay, good. Debits is going to be amount or number. Where's number? Credit is also going to be number. this type is going to be the type of this. So come here, auto compute. We're going to say account dot type. Yeah. Click done. This is going to be a number. This is going to be a number. Statement is also going to be the statement that the account belongs to. So we can just put that in as well. So account dot statement. Okay, so we don't have the statement of the account in that table. So we need to pull that in as well. So in details, click this plus. Let's see if we can pull in the statements. So account.main.statements. Click this, click done. Let's save this. Okay, good. So we have our statement in here, and then we're going to bring this in our GLs. So over here, statement is going to be over here, account dot statement. I'm going to click this, click done, and save this. Now the run script column is not going to show, so I'm just going to put this off. I'm going to save this as well. Okay, good. So we have the various fields in here. So we have this and GL. Over here. So when I click this plus button, we have this, we have that, we have this transaction, description, select your accounts. And then you see that you're debiting or you're crediting. The type is defaultly debits. These two do not have to show in the GL statement over here. Good. Okay. Now, obviously, it's going to be very difficult to enter transactions one by one. You debit it, come and click the plus button, and you credit it. And that's why in the finished view, we had a section that's called the pass entry section, where you can actually debit and credit on the same view instead of doing this multiple times. So when you come here, right over here, you see this nice view we created, right? It makes it easy for you to debit and credit without having to click on the plus button, record all the debit entries, and then save it. Basically recording every transaction one at a go. Now I have a video on how to create a view like this, okay, a table-like view in a form in AppSheet, and I'm going to put a link in this section of the video, right? So you can watch this and understand how this is done. But I'm going to redo this in this video as well, and then users can also use that to create any kind of form where you need something like a table view in your app.